I am really worried about Israel, and especially about the Israeli people. Like, we have completely lost our way. There are so many indications of this. I was in a store today where there was a political conversation happening, where the owner of the shop was saying that he's planning on supporting Yair Golan, the leader of the Labor Party, formerly Labor Party, now Democratic Party. He's actually a general in the IDF with left-leaning opinions, which are still evolving. We'll see how far they evolve. In any case, towards the left. And the woman, the customer, said, "What, you might as well be voting for Ahmed Tibi," right? Meaning that, oh, if you're going to vote on the left, you means you're voting for Arabs, and ergo, that's a bad thing, right? The idea is that even supporting an Arab Israeli, Ahmed Tibi is a citizen of Israel. He's been serving the Knesset for many, many years. And yet the idea of supporting an Arab Israeli is like the most extreme concept in the world, as if you're supporting terrorism. Ahmed Tibi does not support terrorism, does not support October 7th or Hamas or any of that. I heard him say many, many times, condemning what happened on October 7th. I was in a Knesset meeting witnessing this conversation when he was being attacked by some, not even right-wing, sort of centrist-ish MKs saying, "What? You love Hamas, you're a terror supporter, you support October 7th. And he said, like, over and over and over again, "I do not support Hamas, I do not support violence, I do not support what happened on October 7th. What happened on October 7th was a massacre." Ahmed Tibi said it's a massacre, but our own prime minister says, "Oh, no, not a massacre," which is like mind-bending insanity. So, these are like everyday conversations that are happening in which anything not Bibi is already being cast as is not legitimate. And even, like I posted today on Substack, even Bennett is giving legitimacy to the most extreme elements in his camp. He was trying to promote himself as some kind of, like, not quite extreme, like the nice guy of the right. But that's not working anymore. And is there even a such thing as a nice guy on the right? I don't think there is. I'm not sure there's a nice guy on the left either. I'm not sure where there are the voices saying we need humanity, we need compassion, we need shared society, we need a vision for something other than endless militaristic violence. You see this macho militarism in everyday life. There's so much violence on the streets, on the roads, in everyday interactions. And if you really want to get depressed, you should watch this guy Hamza Saada, who interviews a Palestinian guy who interviews everyday Israelis on what they think of Palestinians. And over again he posts these videos where Israelis are saying, "I hope they all die." And he'll say, "Well, what about all those 10,000 or 20,000 babies that Israel has killed?" And they'll be like, "Well, what's going to happen? They're going to grow up to be terrorists, so it's okay." So many ways to justify this bloodshed that is so normalized in Israeli society, and that's the part that worries me more than anything, because until we get to the root causes of this, until we fight all that internalized propaganda, all that dehumanization of the other, the dehumanization of Palestinians, this is never going to end. And we're all going to lose. We're all going to lose from this. I have a Palestinian friend that I chat with on Facebook a lot who sends me some really horrible things. And, I said, I'm sorry for you and I'm sorry for us. I'm sorry for all the loss of life that this causes on your side. And I'm sorry for the loss of the soul that it causes on my side. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling we as a people have lost our way. And the worst part is that I feel like it's an election year. And in this election, October 7th is going to be the subject. And it's going to be the proof of everything. We're going to be hearing about October 7th. We're going to be hearing about the B-Bus kids. And then you hear about the B-Bus kids, and therefore it's okay to kill 20,000 Palestinian babies. It feels like now that the hostages are back everybody's back to like normalcy in Israel. There's this real sense of like, okay, everything's fine now in Israel, even though it's really not. And even though there's still a war going on in Gaza, you know, and when I say there's a war going on in Gaza, what I mean is that the Israeli army is in Gaza, you know, raising hell for the people who live there. The people who live there have not experienced really much relief, which I hear from my friend Yara and in Deir Bach, you know, she doesn't have any relief, really. And so we're still doing that. We are still doing that in Gaza while, you know, Israelis are celebrating and having normal life. And that is really weird to me. My Facebook feed is filled with stories from Gaza, stories from the West Bank, people being killed, alongside things like people celebrating recipes and weight loss and all these, you know, everyday things, or like Olympics. Okay, Olympics and death. That's my feed. It is weird, and it's really distressing. And you know, these everyday conversations like I had today, where I'm overhearing people even not being able to comprehend that Arabs or Palestinians are human beings. That is just terrifying to me. And I'm waiting for voices of leadership, people who might be in the next government, who might be able to form a different coalition. I'm waiting to see where those voices are going to emerge, and it's hard to find. It's really hard to find. You know, it's hard to find moral clarity in Israel today. And it's going to get worse because October 7th is going to be used. And Iran are going to be used. They're used as excuses for all of this. Well, what about October 7th? Even the guy who owned this, you know, in the store today, who said he wants to vote for Yair Golan. He's like, well, it's not Bibi's fault, is it? You can't blame Bibi. You know, what did he do? He didn't cause October 7th. And it's like, well, actually, he did. He did in so many ways. He funded Hamas for a zillion years, and he failed to listen to people who were warning him. Lots and lots of people, including dozens of young women who were completely ignored. So yeah, a lot of this, and also how it was treated, and the decision to completely bombard Gaza and to kill so many innocent people in Gaza, that was 100% him. So, you know, but Israelis are not seeing this, and it's feeling like it's getting worse. I'm feeling like the dehumanization of Palestinians that was taking place before all this is now getting worse. And we're in an election year, and there are lots of highly paid strategists whose job it is to figure out how to convince people that this is true. And this is extremely worrying. You know, it's worrying on a practical level, and it's worrying on a spiritual level and on a social level. For me, my work, as I see what I want to be doing now, is working on this issue of undoing the dehumanization of the other. I've been doing it already for a while with my podcast, Women Ending War, and also with my book, In My Jewish State, where I lay this all out, both personally and academically. I do a whole analysis of the language using my anthropologist hat. I use my hat of, you know, product of religious Zionism, and also my hat of anthropologist, you know, analyzing language. I do this to point to where this dehumanization takes place. And with Women Ending War, I try to combat dehumanization by doing humanization, by humanizing the other and telling real stories with real people. And now we're in the middle of season 5. You should check it out. We've got some really interesting interviewees, really interesting episodes. And we're expanding to Peace Media. We're opening a website called Peace Media, the Peace Channel, which is going to hopefully expand this kind of content, because this is everything. We need to hold up a mirror to ourselves and ask ourselves, who are we? Who are we as a people defending the idea that you can just randomly kill, 2 million Palestinians just like that, including tens of thousands of babies, that it's okay? How did we get here? How did we get here? So we need to be undoing this. We need to be fixing this at the core. That is my work ahead. If you want to join me, feel free to put in a comment, reach out to me. Yeah, comment on the videos, like, subscribe, the Substack, the Women Ending War videos, and check this space for the launch of Peace Media, scheduled for April 1st. Please God, inshallah. Yeah, let's do this together.